Hello, good evening, everyone, and welcome to this session where we are going to discuss about the latest competition by JSW Steel, the fourth season of the JSW Challenge called Steel the Future. It's the innovate. The theme is to innovate for a greener future this time. Um, so, to answer your queries and to have a lot of discussion around what the competition is all about, what sustainability means to JSW, we have Dr. Dhiren Panda and Monika Shrivastava with us for this session. Hi, everyone. Hi, sorry. Hi, Dr. Dhiren. Hi, Monica. Thank you
Right.
so much for joining us.
Glad to be here.
Yeah, happy to be here and maybe exchange some notes with the students and everyone. Yeah.
Yeah. So, can you please introduce yourselves to our viewers?
So let me go first. My name's Dhiren Panda, and I head the R&D activities at JSW Steel and Coated Products. I'm a metallurgical engineer by background, and I worked in automotive, steel industry, and also in oil and gas. So that's my brief background. So I'm an engineer by background, metallurgical engineer. Right now, I'm kind of located at our Vijayanagar facility, which is the single largest location in India steel plant, integrated steel plant. And we have a research group that is spread out across our organization. Although it is centrally located in Vijayanagar, we have research groups at Dolvi. One of our sister facilities at our Salem steel plant, and we are building at our research activities as we speak. So we are looking forward to discuss this because sustainability is an aspect that is front and center. This is a challenge, but also an opportunity. JSW, our motto is better every day, and that's what we kind of believe in. And sustainability also, we think bettering ourselves in every metrics and getting better every day. So having said that, we are looking forward to this competition to come up with really new ideas, fostering innovation, which is also another pillar of our culture. As you all know, that India has declared 2070 as net zero. We want to be much ahead of that target. So we have set ourselves a target of 2050 to be net zero. So I'm looking forward to this discussion and also challenge everyone that is going to be participating in this to partner with us to come up with a, like I say, better every day, a better solution. Thank you.
Thank you. Over to you, Monica.
Yeah. Hi, everyone. My name is Monika Shrivastava, and I'm heading sustainability at the vertical of JSW Cement of the bigger group, that is JSW Group. And so this is the fourth season of JSW Challenge. And I'm very happy to know that the theme is around the waste utilization or the recycling. And with JSW, it's been almost 2.5 years. I would be completing 3 years over this company. And before that, I was with another cement company, that is ACC Limited, part of Wholesome Group. And I spent there almost 14 years, but all 16 years in cement in sustainability. So sustainability just resides with me, and I myself am very passionate about the topic, and not just one topic around sustainability, but be it climate, water, waste, and the social aspect also. So I'm very, very excited and looking forward to interact with all of you virtually and maybe sometime face to face as well. So that's a quick introduction from my side, and let's see how it goes. Thank you. Looking forward. Yeah.
Thank you. So let's start off with understanding what the challenge exactly is. Okay, so we've seen, and people, if you are interested in taking part in the competition, please head over to insidecampus.com and take part in the competition. So, firstly, why is solid waste recycling and utilization the focus of the 2024 JSW Challenge? If anyone of you can take up the question.
Yes, so just to kind of jump in here, we are primarily a steel producer,
Yes.
and we use the blast furnace process of making steel. That's our primary process route, which is based on iron ore, converting iron ore into steel. So every ton of steel that we ship to our customers, we handle about 4 additional tons of solid material. So in the form of iron ore, coal, fluxes, and other solid material like refractories and things like that. So every time you handle that amount of solid material, and also in the process, you generate a lot of solid waste. So one of our sustainable development goals is to manage the resources as well as be a keeper of the land and water. So we believe in trying to capture all these solids and the wastes that are generated during the processing of and making steel, to be able to first make sure that we recycle 100% if possible. And the second is if there is an aspect of valorization where you take a stream that is considered as waste and then you find a useful product out of it, which makes economic sense, creates a new business stream for us. That's so much the better. So we would like to consider that a waste stream can be valorized with solid technical intervention and produce products which increases our green bona fides. Bottom line is it's in keeping with our sustainable development goals. Uh, Second, it's a part of our business objectives to reduce and recycle as much as we can. And third thing is to valorize all the waste that has been generated during the steelmaking process. That, in a nutshell, is why we are considering this as a very important objective of JSW Steel.
Understood. And how does this challenge tie into JSW's overall vision for sustainability?
So, like I mentioned, there are 17 sustainable development goals. There are
Yes.
different, so I recommend that you go to our website, www.jsw.in, and there is a sustainability tab where we kind of consider that all these goals are an intricate part of our business plan. Uh, there is a there is a there is a demand from the society where we operate so that we have a better environment. And part of that, having the better environment is to generate as little waste as possible. Among that, solid as well as liquid, and of course, the atmospheric gases, the greenhouse gases. So we work on all these three things. And like I mentioned earlier in my talk, so the volume of solids we handle to produce steel is just a huge amount. So we want to reduce that footprint. So it makes perfect sense for us that one of the pillars of our sustainability progress would be to manage and kind of consider that solid waste should not be an issue.
Understood. Mr. Dhiren, can you also elaborate on the importance of waste management in steel production and its impact on sustainability?
Yes, so like I was mentioning, for example, every ton of steel we produce, we handle 4 tons of solids. And also we generate in form of slags, dust, sludges, close to about 600 to 700 kgs. So every 1,000 kg of steel, you are going to generate 600 to 700 kgs of material. Traditionally, slags have been considered as a waste. So if you go to older steel plants around the country, you will see these are being piled up in, taking up a huge mass of land, and they just pile it up and it grows into mountains. But what we have done is at JSW Vijayanagar, taken this slag and we kind of convert it into a product. One of the product is the GGBS, ground granulated blast furnace slag, which is directly used in concrete. So you don't have to convert it into a clinker or anything like that, and you can directly use it in a concrete mix, which is a very green way of using the material. So that is an example of valorization, where we took a material that is slag, which is considered traditionally as a waste material, where you where there is a cost involved in handling this waste, but we have valorized it and converted it into a very useful product, and thereby enhancing our green credentials. Not only that, but we also this also aligns with our business needs. Um, so that's one example of sustainability. How we take a product that would conventionally be considered as a waste and turn it into a green alternative product that is available in the market.
Got it. Thank you for sharing. Miss Monica,
Yeah.
from
Yeah.
your
Yeah.
perspective, yes,
Yes.
what are the most promising opportunities for innovation in sustainability across industries like steel and cement?
I would give more perspective from the cement side. So, like Dr. Panda shared that he spoke about a product called GGBS, that is ground granulated blast furnace slag, and he also mentioned that in a steel there are a lot of waste which is being generated over the process, but that is not the case with cement. Cement is in a way, no matter how polluting it looks, but it's a kind of a clean process from water point of view and waste, because the cement manufacturing process does not generate any kind of process waste. In fact, it uses the waste from other industry and into its manufacturing, and in turn it saves many of the resources as well as fuel. So I would like to give an example that the inception of the company of JSW Cement started with that philosophy itself, the circular economy. So when Dr. Panda was sharing that if you go to steel plants, you would find huge heaps of slag over there. And this was the case with JSW Steel also in 2007. And that time the founders and the top management thought of that why don't we use and make it a value added product. And that's how we got with the GGBS, and JSW Cement was incorporated. And since 2009, it's been almost 15 years. GGBS is one product. If some of the students might be aware of the cement manufacturing process itself, cement and steel both are very hard to abate sector from the climate change perspective. Okay, but cement uses not just the slag. It also requires lot of coal, because you need lot of energy to produce cement or to manufacture cement. Now, to replace that coal, all the cement companies are using other waste. When I say other waste, it might be the plastic waste. You all would be aware of landfill. There is so much of landfill waste where you have combustible fraction, which is called RDF, refuse derived fuel. Now, all the cement companies are using that waste as a fuel, and they are saving. I mean, you just see the benefit it brings in. So it is reducing the consumption of your coal. It is reducing the climate CO2 emissions, which might have emitted maybe if that waste would have burnt separately in the landfill. Then it also address some of the waste management problem or the pollution problem, and maybe relevant health impacts as well. So that's why steel and cement both are hard to abate sector, and we being a group, JSW group, and having all the hard to abate sector, including JSW Energy. That's why, I mean, you spoke about that. How is it? How the whole thing is? How the whole thing is connected to overall sustainability goal. So many of the problems we are trying to resolve within the group, because there are many challenges which we have identified the opportunities as well. And same things we are expecting through this competition, that many of the entries might bring the perspective that how there is a challenge of some kind of waste problem for which we do not have currently any solution, but they may bring in new perspective, new ideas, that how to turn those challenges or the problem into opportunities, and later on it becomes a business as usual. So today it would look like a great idea, but later on, after 10 years, the way I told the story of GGBS, now all the cement companies are using that plastic waste as a, substitution of coal. So with this example, maybe might be useful for the students. Yeah.
Absolutely. Thank you so much. Uh, Dr. Dhiren, How can technology be leveraged to optimize waste reduction in steelmaking?
So, sir, I mute.
Sorry. So fundamentally, technology, if we consider research and development, innovation, technology, these are essentially enablers. So what we consider as, and in the case of solid waste and minimizing solid waste and valorizing solid waste, you can imagine these are key enablers. So we think that there is a lot of runway. Means we are probably not valorizing as much. Some of the waste material that could be refined and repurposed with use in advanced let's say application. I will give you just one example. We use coal to make coke. Coke is a raw material for steel making. And in the process, we produce what is called tar. Tar is a very gooey product. In the old days, the bitumen or the tar that you see that is being laid over the road. So that's the tar. Now, we could take the tar and we could use it as a fuel. We could burn it up, get heat into our furnaces. But there is an alternate way you can take the tar, make pitch out of it. And out of the pitch, you can make carbon black, which is a much more value-added product. And this is only enabled by technology, research and development and innovation. And an example of this is we have a sister company here that takes this tar, converts it into pitch, and now is making the anode material, the anode black that is used in lithium-ion batteries. So that is what I'm saying is technology is a very key enabler in which it can take a product which literally has very little value, or it might cost companies. I mean, if you had to handle pitch and tar in the old days, you probably gave it away. So technology is that enabler which can convert this product and find a useful market. And that's what we say that there is a driver, the business driver, to get the value out of these so-called waste streams. So this is just a simple example, and there are multiple examples like this. And in our R&D work, we are doing a lot of uses of waste material, be it in agriculture, be it in, like I said, advanced product like carbon black or anode material. So we are working on all of these things. And I think, as you ask the question, where does technology stand? I think technology is a key enabler.
Understood. Thank you, sir. So, Ms. Monica, what would be your advice to the participants on how can they integrate the ESG principles into their proposed solutions for the competition?
So, I think that ESG, I mean, few of the ESG principles are already embedded into it because the theme itself is waste recycling and all. So ESG stands for environment, social, and governance. Okay, so when you are handling when you are handling some waste, E is already taken care of, because when you are using waste, you are also saving on resources and the process to how do I say, to manufacture a new thing, because you are making use of those resources which might not be. So now there is no definition of waste per se. So all the waste are resources. They are considered as resources. So E is already taken care of. Now S and G. So whenever you propose, so bring in some aspects of S, in the sense that somebody would be handling those waste, be it machinery or be it people. So and some waste might be hazardous in nature. So we also need to take care of the health and safety of the well-being, safety and well-being of those employees who might be involved with that case study or the process. So that's why you need to take care of, whenever you are proposing any solution, just just keep in mind that how would it be implemented in the practical term, in the real life application. So those things also need to be taken care of. Governance deals with ethics and all. So whatever solutions we propose, those has to be in kind of honest, or your idea specifically. What I would recommend, that it so you might learn from something which is already there, but you just cannot copy and paste. You need to bring in your innovation. So that's the ethical thing at an individual level, which we all can implement at our own from our own side. That would be a quick insight from my side. Maybe Dr. Panda can add if he has anything.
Yes, for me, I think all the sustainability goals are basically in line with the UN, United Nations, charter. Essentially, what you are looking after is taking care of the society around you, taking care of the land, taking care of the water, taking care of the air. I mean, at the end of the day, that is what all the manufacturers have to strive. And, these are very well-defined goals. Um, and I think we have a commitment to the society at large that we need to stay ahead of the goal that the country has decided for itself, 2050 instead of 2070. JSW Cement is probably going to be ahead of us, ahead of steel. So fundamentally, it's good for business. The JSW Vijayanagar facility, being the single largest site, we bring in so much raw material, we handle so much raw material, and we generate quite substantial amount of solid waste, what would be considered waste. If we did not intervene, whether you can call it technology intervention or logistics intervention or whatever intervention to minimize the impact on the society at general, which would be in this case land and water and the flora and fauna, then we would be in serious discord. And that is what our primary goal is. Our motto is better every day, and that is the surrounding in which we have our plants and manufacturing sites. We believe in bettering the entire society at large where we are located.
Got it.
Fabian, I would
Yes,
like to add one more point,
yes,
which
yes,
came
please.
a little later. So whenever you are submitting your case study or any project, just keep in mind that when you are giving a solution to one problem, that that solution should not create another problem. So I give you an example. When we are talking about solar energy, so many sustainability people do talk about it. We have a debate around it in the sustainability community, that while we are solving the problem of climate by using your solar power, or but what will happen to those batteries in the panel? And now, I mean, and that time we did not think over that. So what I mean, so we are creating another problem of the waste management, dealing with the battery waste or the solar panel waste. So just keep in mind that while giving solution, it might have some challenges, but it should not give give rise to one another big problem, which is again for that we have to again go for a challenge case study. Yeah.
Yeah. And what would be your advice to the participants to balance technical feasibility and business impact effectively?
Dr. Panda, maybe you can go first for that.
Yeah, being a person working in the technology field, like I mentioned, the technology is a key enabler. And what do I mean by enabler? Enabler is to kind of valorization, getting more value of our current processes or products. So business drivers are always there, but business drivers are also subject to regulations, subject to public criticism, or nowadays you know you cannot have a dirty smokestack because everybody has a cell phone. They can take a picture and send it to you'll be on social media pretty soon. So you have your obligations towards the society, your obligations towards the community at large is also front and center. So sustainability is not a buzzword anymore. It's a business imperative, in my opinion. And technology is an enabler. Fundamentally, those three are kind of related to each other. You cannot just have technology for technology's sake. It should make sense. It should be another stepping stone in the progress towards a sustainable world. And that's our stance at JSW. We always try to be innovative in our approach. That's why we have goals of zero solid discharge, zero liquid discharge. These are not noble goals, although they are noble in nature, but
Yes,
they're also extremely important business goals.
understood. Now, coming back to the JSW challenge, what are the top criteria that the judges will focus on when evaluating the solutions for this year's challenge? If Dr. Dhiren, if you would like to take it up.
Yeah, I think there is a whole body of expertise that is already available in handling solid waste. So fundamental understanding of the issue at hand is very important. So it should have a clear-cut understanding of what we are talking about. What is the scale of the problem slash opportunity? That should be one of the criteria. Then, of course, the second important thing is how much it is in line with our sustainable development goals. That means one of the examples came out is, okay, you treat one waste, you create another three streams of waste. So that should not be the case. How, overall goals are in alignment with our sustainability targets. Number three is, of course, the technological aspect. Four is business aspect. It should be sound business case for anything that is proposed. And then, like typical, goals. Whenever you have goals, everybody knows those are like SMART goals. Uh, and the SMART goals means it should be not very fuzzy. It should be very specific, measurable, achievable, reasonable. So all those key criteria, that means it should be very practical that you can implement within a limited amount of time and limited budget to show results. So it should be completely results oriented.
Okay, thank you. Uh, Now, I would like to understand more from you, Dr. Dhiren. So, with over 25 years of experience, right? So, what has been the most transformative moment for you in sustainable steel making?
Ah, that's a great question. Um, so I had the privilege of working in the United States for a long time and working with one of the premier steel makers there called Nucor Steel. Uh, and what amazed me was that they were kind of the pioneers of what is called scrap-based steel manufacturing. So that company is almost the size of JSW Steel, and they were able to grow it from a very small, one furnace, one location to now multiple locations and producing almost 30 plus million tons of steel just by remelting scrap. So that goes to show that if there is a good driver, you know, then the technology and the business comes along. I don't think 30 years back when Nucor was starting to dabble in remelting scrap using electric arc furnaces, they had thought that 30 years down the road, they would be considered as a role model because their carbon CO2 footprint is the lowest in the world. They had never thought about that. It was just a business imperative. Let's say there's a lot of scrap available. Let's go start remelting scrap, and let's grow a business out of it. And they were wonderful. I mean, a lot of people before them had tried and failed, but they had the tenacity to keep on growing. And scrap was a very unregulated market. They seem to have a better handle of it, consolidated it, made a solid business case out of it, and grew the business. And like I mentioned, they made it very efficient. The capex for melting scrap is half the capex that you require for making steel using iron ore. So they were very smart about it. They deployed the technology, um, at the right time. They took humongous risks. So that was the transformative thing. So I had the great opportunity to work for a company like that, and that always embraced innovation and creativity and what was considered mini mills. At that time, the steel mills were very small footprint. Now they are not considered any mini mills anymore. They are large mills by their own size and breadth and the width of product they offered. So that was my I would say good experience, and I was very fortunate to be a part of it while Nucor grew into a very large company.
Wonderful. Uh, so, Miss Monica, how do you see sustainability evolving in India, and what are the key trends that participants should keep in mind while solving this challenge?
Okay. So I can speak from my own experience because,
Yes.
like I said, that it's been almost 16, 17 years. When I started this journey, I have done masters in natural resource management. And today people ask me that you knew that there would be some kind of sustainability field when you did your masters in the field of sustainability. So that time and now you see so many people. I myself have seen that so many people from non-sustainability background have come to me and they ask about that can we do some kind of sustainability course. So why I'm sharing this to give you a perspective that how things have changed over the last 16, 17 years or say 20 years. Earlier it was not known to, I mean, my college was probably the first college which had a degree of sustainability, natural resource management. Okay, I was a second batch. So one is that, and it's not just for the from the academics point of view, all the companies also. So earlier it was sustainability was good to have. So those companies were considered good. I mean, they were considered progressive if you talk about sustainability. Now it's like must have. So so if companies are progressing on sustainability, they would be considered good. But those who are not doing it, those would be seen as a with a very bad image that how come in today's world when everybody is talking about sustainability you do not have anything. So that perspective has changed from good to have to must have kind of thing. And I also had an opportunity working in Switzerland for almost a year, and that was around 2011, and today we are at 24. So the focus or the momentum which that European company had on sustainability. Today, I wouldn't say that we have completely gone over it, but we are progressing towards that. And most of the drivers are not just coming from the regulatory point of view. Surely there are stricter regulation coming over and new policies coming over with all the I would say all the challenges what we see. Climate change, if you tell this, many people would understand. Even my 8-year-old kid are given the project that do this project on climate change or waste recycling. So those things I anticipate or I assume that all the students are MBA students, and I'm sure that at least one or some topics would surely be from sustainability point of view. So whatever you have learned in your classes, try to get those learnings embedded into this project so that you can see the impact. So and because and I'm sure, I mean, it might happen with many of you. When you do that, when you do some kind of research around the topic, and when you yourself put little more efforts towards embedding those principles into your project, you yourself would feel happy. I mean, and it gives you a kick that yes, I should be doing more. So I think that it's very natural that the Gen Z or today's generation are much more conscious than the earlier generation, maybe my and his generation. So I assume that all of you would be able to put in those whatever you have learned into your project proposals. Yeah.
Okay, awesome. Now we head over to, we have received a few questions regarding the challenge, the case. So we'll proceed towards that. And meanwhile, people who are watching this webinar live, if you have any questions for Dr. Dhiren and Ms. Monika to take up, please put them as comments here and we'll take up the questions. Okay. So one of the commonly asked questions was that should we focus more on the technical innovation aspect or the business strategy for the challenge?
Um, I think I'm agnostic to that. You know,
Okay.
what I'm saying is you need to take an approach. There is definitely a lot of awareness of solid waste, like I mentioned. There is a body of literature that is available. There is a body of technology. I mean, amazing technology development in the last 10 years. So I think the technology, like I said, it should be like the smart, goal approach. But yeah, but it has to make business sense. If it does not make business sense, then it is not practical in my opinion. And India is growing fast, especially in steel sector. We are growing twice the GDP growth rate. So if economy is growing at 6% GDP growth, we are talking about 12, 13% for steel. So in that case, there is going to be always a demand for scarce funds to be applied more towards expansion than for remedial projects of things if they don't make business sense. So I'll give you an example. In our R&D, we have to show an ROI on every project, and it better beat the ROI for the case that we make for expansion. So it has to have a business case supporting the venture.
Great. So another question was, how do we prioritize between environmental impact and cost efficiency in our solutions?
Uh, so the business case will definitely drive towards valorization. So when we do cases like this, the concept of like we gave an example of ground granulated blast furnace slag. I'll give you a simple example. Just say it costs us the material as received, the slag material. It's almost like sand. We can sell it at the price of sand in the open market. So we can sell it for, let's say, 700, 800 rupees per ton. Now, when you grind it and you make a GGBS product out of it, it can sell for north of 2000 rupees a ton. So that's the valorization. Now, you're taking a material and then you are making a useful product, so now the intermediate step, you have to make sure that you are adding only an incremental cost to the product so that you get the most value. So in the GGBS case, our margins could be as high as 60%. So the higher the margin, the better the chances that you are going to get the investment. At the end of the day, your business case, will kind of determine whether you get the investment or not.
Okay. One more question is, how can we test the feasibility of our solutions for large scale implementation?
You start small. so so yes, I mean, the GGBS product was available in the market, but it did not come overnight. Somebody had to try it at a smaller scale. Then they had to take it, mix it in the concrete to make sure that all the quality requirements of the concrete was met by using GGBS. Similarly, you have to build a scale at which you think you can be profitable. I mean, that's and capital is scarce, so you have to kind of have a demonstration plant which can stand on its own legs. It should be beyond the pilot plant stage. I would say it should be somewhere in the neighborhood of TRL 7 type stuff, where you are past that hump of looking for investment to build the next pilot plant. So it should be like that. It should be a standalone business by itself. That's my opinion. But you can present if it is a brilliant idea, sometimes scale doesn't matter.
Great. So, folks, so I hope this answers your question. People who have asked this, so that we had received this quite a lot. So another question is from greeting from Greenhouse from I am Bangalore. We wanted to ask what are the key attributes or skills you look for in participants? How can we stand out during the evaluation process? That's the question.
So this will be my first rodeo at this. So, like a typical business case evaluation or R&D project evaluation, I can give you my 10 cents worth of input. Um, Number one is how coherent the idea is. Is it kind of rooted in reality or not? That should be the first focus. It should be a very smart approach. You should come with very specific things because this is not something that can be very general. You are dealing with solid waste of a steel plant or a cement plant or a manufacturing facility. So in this case, we are talking about steel plant solid waste. So the problem definition is already there. So that's why the solutions also have to be very specific. So the proposal has to be very specific. It should come in with its own metrics, so measurable metrics. The business case should be sound. And if it is a technology component of it, it has to be somewhat practical to say that, okay, it can be implemented. That's why I said it should be more of a little bit higher TRL than trying to carry out research for the next 2-3 years because the magnitude of the problem is upon us, but also the solutions that are available in open literature and open search like GGPS or something, solutions like that have been prevalent for the last, I would say, good solid 25 years. So you have a solid foundation of potential solutions that are available. So the bigger thing is how specific it is, what kind of business ROI you can generate, how practical of implementation plan you have got, and at the end of the day, the metrics should be realistic.
Got it. So we have one more question from Rakesh Chaurasia. He's asking, can we innovate our ideas by integrating and utilizing current JSW capabilities?
Sure. Yeah. You can use JSW's capabilities. In fact, we would be looking at it because we already are doing the work. Vijayanagar just went up in capacity from 12 to 18 million tons, and we are going to expand to 24 million tons. So the amount of solid waste that is going to be generated, last year, in another 3-4 years' time, it'll be not quite twice, but close. So you can use that example. I mean, a lot of information is public. Um, and similarly, our different sites are also like that. Dolby is going to be 15 million tons. Salem is already at 1 million ton. It'll be slightly bigger. BPSL is 3.5. So yeah, so you can use whatever facility, whatever location. So geography is no limitation because we are in the southern Karnataka or northern Karnataka, but in the southern part of India. And Dolvi is western part of India. BPSL is eastern part of India. You can consider site-specific constraints, let's say. Whatever you can provide should be relatable to JSW.
Okay. So thank you so much for the detailed answer. Shivendra has a question. Uh, we are Team True as Steel from MDI Gurgaon. We had a question regarding JSW Platina. How does JSW go about carrying relevant tech innovations in the core business?
Okay, so I can speak for JSW Steel, and Monika can speak for JSW Cement because in both the cases, we are talking about sustainability as a core value and a core business need and requirement. But having innovation, we are perhaps the most innovative steel company in India as we speak, just because by the sheer breadth of the product and the processes that you're going to find within our company. Uh, be it adoption of digital technologies, we are by far, if you look at manpower utilization, we are probably the most efficient, by the head count for production of steel. We are way ahead of any other steel company in India. Uh, we we export a lot of our product, 10 to 20% globally. So we are very interconnected with the global supply chain. We import material from all over the world. We import coal from Australia, India, Russia. So there is always this possibility that we can grow and we can take on the technical challenges head on. So that's why we say we don't look at challenges as challenges, but as opportunities.
Okay. Two more questions. Okay. Srishti Gupta has a question from Team Greensmiths from IM Shillong. What are the key challenges and gaps in innovation for waste recycling within India's manufacturing industry that you have noticed?
Yes, I mean, there are certainly gaps. The big issues, let's say, for example, solid waste, so solid waste, a lot of it is, you can say, valorized or recycled within the process itself. So you have very little discharge. There are emerging issues. For example, iron ore. I would say iron ore, the grade of iron ore is continuously decreasing. Earlier, if you had iron ore that in a particular mine used to produce at 62%, now it's producing at 58%, and you have to beneficiate it. So as a part of the beneficiation process, you will have tailings. Now you store the tailings currently. Now, what do you do with the tailings down the road? And every industry has this issue, be it thermal power generation, they deal with fly ash. If you look at aluminum production, they deal with red mud. For us, it'll be probably tailings that we have to deal with. So that's an emerging issue. And it's going to get bigger as we grow bigger and consume more steel. Our steel consumption is going to double by 2030 per capita. We are at 100. We are going to be crossing 220 by the time we reach 2030, maybe way before that. So you can imagine not on a specific generation, but on an overall volume generation, will be generating a lot more. And that will require, really next generation solutions.
Dhiren, I would like to add to
Please.
this.
Yes, ma'am.
So it's I mean, there are industries which Dr. Panda already spoke about, alumina industry, means very core industry which have the problem of solid waste generation. But I see while there are challenges, there are also new companies or the startups coming over, seeing that challenge, and they see that challenge as an opportunity. That's why, I mean, you see now so many companies have come up. I myself can give example, especially for the plastic waste, because in the cement industry, many people were working on this use of waste into your cement industry. Now they all have opened their own recycling or the segregation facility, that you are getting some waste, you are segregating that, and segregation was the biggest challenge. And maybe it's not that much for the industrial waste, but the generic municipal waste or whatever waste you find in landfill. So segregation was the biggest challenge, and now that's why people are working at segregation at source, and you have those facility for how do I say, separating those fractions that which can go for composting, which can go for those things. And another challenge which I see, especially for the industrial waste, that some of the current solution are not that much eco-friendly, I would say. So incineration and landfill are the two most common way of waste disposal. However, both have huge impact on climate change. Okay, and that's why cement industry are seen as the waste management solution. So they, so all the waste, I mean, it can have many industrial waste also used in the process, wherein it would have its own benefit. So Dr. Panda spoke about red mud. We use that as part of the bauxite. He spoke about other slags apart from BF slag, that also we are trying to do some innovation and using it in cement industry or see our company. Then there is this flue dust, which is also coming from sponge iron, Panda sir. Uh, that flue dust, which comes from some other industry. So that also we use. So also textile waste. So all kind of industrial waste, there is a big opportunity to use that beneficially in cement industry. So I think that that challenge would be further resolved with new innovation ideas with coming years. Yes.
Okay. Thank you so much for the answer. So Bhavya has a question. She's asking, can you please share an example of how innovative sustainability ideas from past challenges have been implemented at JSW, and what kind of real world impact have they created?
Okay, I can take that on. And while we are on solid waste, we can kind of consider that as a part of the, you know, kind of an example of how solid waste. I gave you a couple of examples. The blast furnace slag being used as GGPS. Another example was the um, pitch, you know, going into activated carbon as well as battery anode material for lithium-ion batteries. So these are some classic examples that we have kind of um, developed, researched, and now they are into the commercial production stage. And the company like Epsilon Carbon is the company that is growing rapidly based on this concept of producing uh, lithium-ion carbon anode. Huh? So there are multiple examples. One of the innovation that we are very proud of that we built a slag sand recycling plant. So like Monica was mentioning, there are different kinds of slags. The blast furnace slag is the easiest to use for road making or as a part of the concrete mix through GGBS, or you can make clinker out of it and make it a part of the cement. Ultimately, that material is in demand and it can get used. But in other processes that we have, there are several different processes also generate slags that are different, like our steel making slag. And then we have other reactors, KR, Canberra reactor. So we have to find, like I said, a way to recycle and also at the same time exploring the valorization. So we here built a demonstration plant out of our, UF slag, where we took it and we could come up with a different product, one that we could substitute river sand. Almost 60 to 70% of that material, we established a small demonstration plant that we could make a aggregate out of it and replace river sand. And then we would have a lime product. And on that lime product, we are researching right now as we speak. We are collaborating with our agriculture university in Bangalore, whether we can add
Okay,
it as a soil conditioner. So those are the things, typical examples.
okay.
I
So
can share.
now, yes,
Sorry.
yes, Miss Monica, please. Yes.
No, I mean, just for the impact point, that we already spoke about producing GGBS and other slag-based products in cement, and the impact I would tell you that the way Panda sir was sharing the story of that steel plant which uses scrap and manufactures steel. Similarly, our product portfolio is slag based, that two-thirds of our raw material, almost 64% of our raw material is waste derived resource. So one impact is that. And second is because of that low carbon product portfolio, our cement emission, our CO2 emission intensity is lowest, not just in India, but globally. And when I say lowest, it's not just 10 or 20%, it's almost lesser than half of the global average. So that's the kind of impact what we have done.
Okay, that's wonderful. Uh, so we are now coming towards the close of this session. Uh, a gentle reminder to everyone, if you have not yet registered for the JSW challenge, please go to insidecampus.com and register for the competition. You'll find the link in the description of the YouTube video. The winning team will get a PPI opportunity and 6 lakhs cash prize. The first runner-up team will get a PPI opportunity and 3 lakhs cash prize. So please make sure you don't miss out on this opportunity. Uh, Dr. Dhiren, Ms. Monika, thank you so much for being such a wonderful panel. Before we conclude the session, can you please help our participants with just one thing? That if you were competing, what are the areas that you would focus on in the case study and why?
You know, good question. So, case studies are, the subject is kind of already described. It's solid waste, and specifically the solid waste to JSW Steel in this case, but you could consider other parts of JSW Group, but they generate very limited solid waste. So you can take the steel side of things. Uh, so, so the problem is well defined. The solution is where the rubber meets the road, and that has to be innovative. That has to be very creative. Like I said, it needs to have a business objective. It needs to have clarity of purpose. What are you trying to achieve? And then, it should be achievable. I mean, it needs to be somewhat defined that it is, if it is a newer technology, it is well under development, it's past the pilot scale stage. If you can research and find out a well-established process that is already using some of these unique solutions, then the concept will come in how much valorization you are giving, how much value addition and what kind of product. Then it will be up to you to kind of figure out whether there is a market for that product in India. Currently, there is not a market. What are the alternate competing materials that you are going to be competing against? So there should be a component of a little bit of a market study. So we will be looking at all these specifics. And as usual, we'll be a little bit more critical than normal. So, so kind of take it as a good experience, learning experience. Uh, I would say that those are the key items. So if the market doesn't exist, how do you create a market? If the application doesn't exist, how do you create an application? If the technology doesn't exist, how do you create a technology? But all of this should be followed up with a good, solid business plan.
Understood. And Ms. Monica, any last tips from your side for the participants?
Yes, so two things I would say. I mean, Dr. Panda already touched upon that. That do your research well. So there might be many solutions which are already suggested, but find out the reason that why those are still proposal, why they are not able to be implemented. So find out those challenges and try to address those questions. And second is the technical and the economic feasibility. So whenever you are proposing something, so find out that if something, I mean, he spoke about that if something is there which might have been implemented globally, maybe in Europe, that might not work in India because of the maybe market available nahi hai or maybe some other reason. So get that local perspective and implementability, find out those things before you put up your proposal. And economic feasibility for sure, that if you propose some solution, it shouldn't happen that we have to spend much more to find a solution. So yeah, that would be a quick summary.
Okay. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Ms. Monica. Thank you, Dr. Dhiren, for your time. And thank you to all our viewers. So just one clarification from my side. The first runner-up team will not get a PPI opportunity. They will get 3 lakhs in cash. So sorry for that. So winners are going to get 6 lakhs and PPI opportunity. First runner-up will get 3 lakh in cash. So that's all from our side. Hope this webinar was informative for you and We wish to see much more participation from your side for this competition. And with that, we come to an end for this session. Thank you so much, everyone.
Best of luck, everyone, whoever
Thank
is.
you. Good luck.
Yes. Thank you. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye. So we are done. Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you.